Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to another episode of the FPL Cafe, a show where we give you the tips, tools, and tricks for you to succeed in your mini league in the game that we all love, which is fantasy football. So, without further ado, please welcome my guest, my co-host rather, back from a long week. Please welcome Ashwin. Hi, Ashwin, how are you? It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm good.
How was your game week?
My gaming was good. Well, not all that good, but yeah, above the average. Well above the average, I guess, by 10 points or so. I'd made two transfers.
That is,
I had taken out Son and Kane for Vardy and Kevin De Bruyne, which seemed to have paid off. Kevin De Bruyne got a
yeah,
10 pointer, Vardy got a 5, who I captain and in turn got a 10. Whereas Kane and Son put together got 5 points. In one game week, I think I've made up the -4, and basically what I try to do is there was a risk that well, if I'd gotten just Vardy for Kane and if just Vardy had blanked, so then that wouldn't have been that great a transfer. And there was
so you had
Son as
to,
well. Yeah, there was Son
yeah,
as well. So I decided, okay, fine, maybe I could take KDB in. He has a good game against Burnley, and historically, City have done quite well against Burnley.
yeah,
So in that way, I thought I could distribute the risk. I was doing a bit of risk distribution, I guess. Thinking,
yeah,
okay, fine. If either at least one of them need to, you know, uh, this is under the assumption that that Spurs would blank against Chelsea. The same way Chelsea played against United, just shutting up shop and waiting for the nil-nil. That's basically, I think, what happened with the Spurs and Chelsea match as well. The only difference being Mourinho is even more defensive than with his Spurs team than United.
yeah,
So the
yeah,
second half was just totally a bore fest. So it was the nil. So that was what I was expecting. And well, yeah, Vardy and KDB with two separate good fixtures, got returns. And this mini experiment is going to continue for the next 2 weeks because Spurs have Arsenal next, which is not as hard, but Arsenal and I think they have who's that they have after Arsenal. They have a few hard
yeah,
fixtures. So
yeah. Spurs have Liverpool.
right, so they have Liverpool and Arsenal, and whereas City and Vardy have good fixtures next. Sheffield for Vardy, City have Fulham, and the fixture after that is also good for them. So in the three game week period, I could see how my two other assets have done over the Spurs assets,
Yeah,
and I would know if my risk distribution experiment has succeeded or failed. But
yeah,
as of now, it's doing good. There's a good -4 to take, and for the next few game weeks, especially I got Kevin De Bruyne in for the long
yeah,
term, so that was a good thing. And Vardy, I could switch back to Kane in game week 16 once Spurs fixtures get good, or I have the option of buying any other premium striker, or I could just downgrade if I want. So Vardy could be a very yeah, is an asset that I could easily get rid of for other options, is what I
yeah,
feel once his good fixtures are done.
yeah. So you didn't put all your eggs in one basket.
Correct. That's it. No, I don't think I have a double up of any player in my team. I mean, in my entire squad, I think. Possibly. I mean, in the starting 11. I mean, in that starting 11, there isn't Chelsea is possibly the only double up I have in that starting 11, apart
Yeah,
from my goalkeeper and Grealish, obviously. But then, yeah, I keep it to a minimum. So there are people with triple Aston Villa, triple Chelsea, and all that. So, I tried to avoid that, especially with this topsy-turvy season that you're having. So, unless a team is doing phenomenally well, like if City continue on this run where they continue with the 4-0 and 3-0 and Mahrez is scoring and Jesus is just starting without Aguero there, then I could possibly think of investing more money in the City. But as of now, the amount of cash that has been involved in one team is minimal. Like even the Chelsea that I have is 5.9 plus ZHs and 8, which is about 13. Whereas the Spurs double up would have cost me more than 21. So
yeah.
I'm keeping the amount that I've invested per team to a minimal for
To a
now.
minimum. Like aside from minimizing the risk of a team doing badly, You also have the options to move on any of these players to another player if they don't do well. It makes it much more easier to not have your cash tied up, all your cash tied up in one player. That's the basic strategy. Because if you have both, like say Robertson and Salah, you have probably 7.5 and 12 million tied up all in Liverpool assets.
Yep.
So that makes downgrading or moving to another player really difficult. So
Yeah, that's
that's what
true.
your strategy is basically, right?
Yeah, that is my strategy. But then again, you got to look at where that money is being invested. If you are investing heavily on separate risk, I mean, it's a bit separate risk analysis for City and Leicester. That is basically
Yeah.
what I've done. I've made sure
Okay.
the risk of having a City player play those three great fixtures and Leicester players plays and Vardy play those three fixtures versus Kane and Son playing in a Mourinho team who have, as we mentioned the last time, who have gotten very defensive over the last 5 game weeks. So
Yeah.
that risk, the risk of them winning 1-0 or a draw 0-0 or something of that sort with these opponents, and with the Liverpool fixture possibly losing, so that seemed like too much of a risk to be having, like you said, 20-21 million invested in those two players for those three fixtures.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I notice a little bit of chinks in your armor of a team
hmm.
there, which is Martinez and Grealish. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's take a look at my team. Uh, my team for this week was pretty decent. As you can see, there's a huge red flag there in Jimenez, which really scuppered my plans. Okay, but first of all, like, get well soon, Jimenez. His injury was like really, really sad, and it was really disturbing. And I hope he recovers fully and he gets back on the football pitch really soon. So yeah, first of all, I had a pretty good game week. 57 points, a pretty decent total given the average, which was 44. McCarthy had a bad game week against Manchester United. Chilwell basically was really was brilliant. Dallas as well. Bruno Fernandes, the guy is special. Grealish, both of them delivered for me with 10 points. ZH and Sun, I expected them to blank. I'm not surprised, but I would have hoped that at least one of them would have gotten me some attacking returns. But Jimenez was a real sad thing because given the scoreline, Wolves scored 2 goals, and you could tell it was just heartbreaking that to know that if Jimenez was on the pitch, he would have at least scored one of those goals. And yeah, Vardy with the last minute gas assist saved my captaincy this week. I'll take that. I'll take that. Given Calvert Lewin blank this week. So yeah, overall it's been a really decent game week given the average. Now,
Speaking about Vardy and his one assist, well,
yes,
you would notice that he does seem to do well away from home rather than at home. Yeah, all
yeah,
his big hauls, his double-digit hauls have come away from home, so he gets a chance to run behind the defenders away from home. So it's
yeah,
not that there is a fact that Fulham. I mean, Fulham was deceptively good. Basically, I don't know how they ended up playing like prime peak Barcelona for some reason. Yeah,
yeah,
it was an upset, I would say. I mean, even if I don't expect Wadi
yeah,
to score away
100%. It's
from
an
home,
upset.
so I'll take the assist anyway. Sheffield United are the new Fulham right now. They are the bottom of the pack. So
One
and
point
Wadi
in 10
faces,
games.
yeah, and they face Wadi next, you know, and in their home. So Wadi away from
Yeah.
home is a good thing. Well, I would hold off on captaining him, but yeah, I still feel that he's good over the next two fixtures.
You're right. Leicester faced Sheffield United, Brighton, Everton. All these games, they are really good games to score. Sheffield
Yeah,
United is away. Vardy does away from home because Leicester predominantly try to use his pace on the counter. Leicester tend to give the home team all of the ball, and they just sit back with their five at the back and try to hit them on the counter. Vardy trying to run into the channels. So when they are at home, they are expected to have more of the ball, and then Vardy does not have. Vardy is not as effective, so that is probably why he tends to do well away from home. Now, coming to your team, you can see Martinez and Grealish do not play. That is
Yes.
because they face Newcastle. They were supposed to face Newcastle this week, and however, the news came out that Newcastle players are currently under isolation because all of
From
them have
massive.
been tested COVID positive. That game is postponed. We were preparing for this. Basically, we knew it was a matter of time before one of the entire team gets tested positive, because the way COVID is spreading in the UK, we were completely preparing for this, and we knew it was just a matter of time. And this won't be the first instance where an entire team gets tested positive. Not only Aston Villa, the assets are gone, Newcastle assets are gone as well, which is really a bummer for me because, as you can see with my previous team, with my team, Jimenez is gone, and I was really planning on taking him out. The plan was always to keep Jimenez for the Arsenal game and for the Southampton game. And now that they are facing Liverpool next and they have got this really tough run of fixtures, the plan was always to ship them out. If you recall from the earlier episode that I had Podence and Jimenez in the double up, so
Yeah.
I shifted out Podence, which was a really wrong move. I shifted out the wrong Wolves player.
Yeah.
But yeah, what can you do? That's FPL. That's the beauty of FPL. So now,
Well, that's just bad luck. I mean, you wouldn't given the choice between Foden and Jimenez, I think everyone would choose Jimenez. He
yeah,
is the
that's
one
what.
expected to score the goal. So that's like a freak, just real bad luck basically in getting hauled off after 15 minutes.
Yeah. So now, West Ham assets, sorry, Newcastle assets are out of the picture, which I was thinking about, like Callum Wilson, because Callum Wilson is really on form right now. He scored one goal and he assisted. Ollie Watkins, from the game against West Ham, he was brilliant. I mean, he should have scored more than one goal, but you could tell that he was running into the channels. He was perfect, and the penalty miss did not dent my hopes in trying to get him in. So now, what do you think are the next best options?
Well, it depends on how many. I mean, it depends really how many players from these two teams you have. If you're someone who has a triple up on Aston Villa plus has Callum Wilson and for some reason has Lewis or some bench fodder Newcastle player, that's
Yeah,
close to five people who are not playing, who won't
yeah,
be playing. So that drastic change, I mean, a free hit is an option. It's just for a week,
yeah,
or you could see how. I mean, depends on how many of our other players are playing. Like you could field if you have one free transfer, you could take out. And I'm not that convinced on Watkins. I mean, I feel Banford is a better option over Watkins. So
okay,
I would not take out Grealish.
yeah.
Grealish is definitely not going to
Grealish.
going to leave. But Aston Villa defenders, a defense. So here's the thing: if you take out a goalkeeper and a non-playing player, and you have one free transfer per week, so that's a -4. So it's minus
Yeah,
four for two players who get you 0 points. So if you
yeah,
replace them with two players who get to the minimum 2 points with the view of the future fixtures in mind, that's 2 plus 2, 4 points. That basically negates the -4 that you have taken. So this is
true.
my thinking. So
So,
if you have a if you could change those two players, even if five players are not playing, assuming you have two players bench players who are playing, so they both of them come in, and then you have one of the three spots to possibly change, and those three spots, one of them could be a goalkeeper, and if you have an
yeah,
Aston Villa defense, this is my thinking. If you have Aston Villa defenders or goalkeepers, I think you should probably change because they're not doing that great defensively. They're not
yeah,
getting you as many clean sheets. They are letting in so too many shots in the box. They are quite attacking, but I'm thinking, if you're moving on assets, I think it's better to move on Villa defensive assets rather
yeah.
than the attacking assets like Grealish. Watkins,
Okay,
maybe if you want to stick with him, you could try to stick with him. See if your bench plays over him because they're going to come back anyway. So here's the thing about the Villa Newcastle match. We don't know when
okay,
that next fixture is going to be. It could be it could be the next game week. Villa versus
okay.
Newcastle could end up having a double game week in game week 11.
Oh, okay, okay,
So yeah, so if that's the case, we don't know. It's best to hold up till Friday to know if it's
okay.
100% off. And if you get any idea, so if there's going to be a double game week next week, then you might want all of as many of if you have five of your assets that are tied up in this game, then maybe not think of removing all of them. But if you have like me, if you have a Grealish and a Martinez, I would leave in Grealish
Yeah,
and possibly look for a replacement for Martinez. If I had a
Martinez.
defender as well, if I had a defender, Aston Villa defender as well, I would possibly think of removing both of them. Again,
Okay. Okay.
that would be a risk distribution thing again. I would possibly think of getting McCarthy from Southampton because I don't have Southampton defensive coverage, and my
Okay.
defender, my Arsenal defender could become a West Ham defender who I don't have either. So
Okay.
that'll be shifted. So those would that would be my strategy if I had that. But right now I'm just on Grealish and Martinez. So and that is those are the only problems. So Grealish, I'm thinking I could play Dallas instead against Chelsea. There is a chance that they get walked over, but yeah, he is playing very attacking. He's playing almost like an
Yeah.
attacking midfielder. So I might as well play him instead of Grealish for this 1 week, and I could find a replacement for Martinez. So this is my idea, at least for the in with the view of Villa Newcastle game being postponed.
Yeah. So regarding my team, I think I'll have to. Initially, my plan was to take out Sun for Kevin De Bruyne. Now I will have to take out Jimenez as well into the equation. So I will have to bring in Kevin De Bruyne, and I will have to bring in, I think, Patrick Bamford. I think that's the only way I will be able to sleep at night. I will have like a safety security blanket knowing that Kevin De Bruyne has the potential. He, like you said, he's facing Fulham. So he will be able to negate that -4 point swing.
I mean, there is the fact that Bielsa and Lampard have a rivalry
Yeah. Spygate.
all the way all the way from the championship.
Yeah.
So the Leeds versus Chelsea match, with that in mind, I don't think is going to be that in favor of Chelsea as you think it would be. I have a feeling
Exactly.
that just that rivalry alone is going to make it a very tough fixture to predict. So
Yeah.
I just want to point out that you wanted to remove Son for Kevin De Bruyne, right?
Yeah.
So I feel Son has a good potential for points this week. So that's my only. This is the reason why I did not wait for a week. I know what would happen if I waited for a week to remove Son because Son faces Arsenal now, and Arsenal are horrible. And I'm pretty sure in the derby, and Kane is historically done well. And if they
Yeah.
play like a Mourinho team does, Son is going to have a run. So Arsenal are weak on their right side where Bellerin is,
Yeah.
and Spurs have Son on their left. So he's the one who's going to be getting in all the space and everything. So
Yeah.
there is the possibility that Son hauls majorly. So I'm very skeptical of that. But then, like you said, that's the choice is Kevin De Bruyne versus Fulham or Son versus Arsenal. So if you purely look at it that way, I think even with the stats, Kevin De Bruyne just blows Son out of the park.
Yeah.
But I'm just really worried about Son hauling. I wasn't worried about last week Kane and Son, but this week I am because it's Arsenal and they have no idea where they are going.
I mean, you say that, but it's a Mourinho team. You'll never know. He just want to sit back, even though the game is there for the taking. He will not. He'll go there to not lose. That is my main concern. And it's a derby. Form goes out the window. You never know this. And this is a perfect setup for Arsenal to win. They have been pathetic the past few games. And it's typical Arsenal to like just come out here all guns blazing in a derby and try to trash Spurs, feeling that Arsenal can pull something out if they want to.
Yeah, we will know. We are going to make our predictions for the games
Yeah.
this week, so we have a discussion then
And
about that.
even if they do Arteta, Arteta is going to go with that five at the back and he's going to like make it difficult for Jose to try and score against him. So I'm more comfortable like having Kevin De Bruyne in my team than Son.
Yeah,
I
I
can,
mean that's
like I said earlier, like I can sleep well at night knowing that I have Kevin De Bruyne in my team and
yeah,
Bruno Fernandes. So it's a big safety blanket kind of thing. And I think a lot of people are going to have Kevin De Bruyne this weekend.
as a, as
Currently he
a, as a captain as well.
currently he is 20.6% selected.
That's going to
Huh?
go up, but I don't know
Yeah,
how
that's
much
going to go up.
because because of this Aston Villa Newcastle being called off. So here's how we have to look at it. If there are players who are taking hits, either they take hits to field a playing 11, or they take hits to field a playing 11 and get Kevin De Bruyne. So
Yeah,
if you're not taking as many hits this week, you're going to get an automatic rank increase just
yeah,
by that virtue. So try to
yeah,
minimize trying to minimize hits this week is the ultimate this thing, because there's going
yeah,
to be a lot of people around you possibly taking a -4 or -8 just to field 11, and if they don't have a De
yeah,
Bruyne, they're going to either miss out on him or they're going to have to take another -4 to bring him in, which is going to
Yeah.
further increase your rank. So I like those odds, which is why I'm just being very conservative this week, game week.
Now, what do you think about Jimenez replacements? I see a couple. Bamford, like I already mentioned. You've got Che Adams, 5.9, who's a really good option. You've got Antonio's back. Antonio's fit. If you have a little bit more cash, you can go for a Everton double up with Richarlison.
So where I am at with Jimenez, either you go up if you're coming down from 8.5. Well,
Yeah,
obviously Wilson is out. Wilson is not an option. Watkins again not an option. So among all the others remaining, I would choose Bamford because over the last 4 game weeks he's had around 26 shots on target and 23. I mean 26 shots on target, 23 chances. He has been part
chances.
of 20. Yeah. So his stats for the last 4 games are quite good. It's just that he's not converted them into goals. I'm just hoping that it does happen eventually, and they have a good run of fixtures.
Yeah.
Whereas Everton, after the next match after Burnley, the fixtures get a bit hard. I'm in fact thinking of getting rid of Calvert-Lewin after the Burnley match.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I'm trying to minimize my Everton assets as of now, because with
Yeah.
Digne out and their defensive injuries, and since most of their attacking output comes along their wing backs, and they're both not going to be there, then it's just going to drastically reduce their output. So I've sent you a stat for Calvert-Lewin's what his stats are for the first five
Yeah.
game weeks versus his last 5 game weeks. As you can see, his goal attempts, his goals, his returns, his shots on target, everything is down over the last
Yeah.
5 game weeks. So we don't. We don't.
And not to mention, Carlo played a really screwed up formation with 3-4-3 with the Davies and Iwobi playing as wing back. So there's completely no creativity there for no service for Calvert Lewin basically.
Yeah, that was a horrible match to watch. So we don't know if they're not back to their full strength as how they were initially in the initial part of the season, and if this is going to
Yeah.
continue, I could think of taking out DCL after a week. So to answer your question of Jimenez replacements, even DCL, that would be, I would feel it would be just for a week or two, unless you're thinking, okay, DCL is going even if the fixtures are hard, he's going to be getting the returns. Then if you feel that, well, then you could go for him. But as the stats point out, the team itself is not doing all that great over the last 5 game weeks. So I think I would stay clear of Richarlison and DCL. If you have him, we could hold him for and see how they do against Burnley without with their defensive issues that they have.
So yeah. Any other thoughts on the fixture difficulties?
Yeah, well, as you can see, Aston Villa still have the best set of fixtures, at least for
Yeah.
the next 5 game weeks. So City are coming up. Clearly, after
Yeah.
apart from that Manchester United game they have in a couple of game weeks, it's just smooth sailing all the way. I mean, I think all the way to the new year.
Yeah.
They're just right. So we have to wait. We have to see how City does in the upcoming game weeks, and then we could know if we have to double up on them or triple up, depending. I mean, if you
Yeah.
don't have a defender already, Diaz seems to be the best nailed on option right now after Cancelo's no show.
Yeah. And
So
Cancelo started in the Europe in the Champions
in
League,
the
so
Champions League.
I think he's going to be rested this week as well. So
Yeah, and the Sterling thing is really scaring now because played in the entire 90 in the Champions League and
yeah.
did nothing.
And
So it's
Guardiola
gonna
said something about benching players in order to increase their mentality or something like that of that sort. He tried the same thing with Mahrez, and it looks like Sterling is the next one who's getting the cut.
yeah.
And I
Well,
don't
but
think like
Mahrez has started 7 out of the last 8 games. So that's what
yeah,
that's what I'm surprised. And well, the thing is, he didn't do well in probably 5 out of those 7 starts. So I'm surprised
yeah,
as to what Pep means by benching players who are not doing well when clearly Mahrez wasn't doing all that well for 5 of the 7 games that he played. But if Pep is benching players to teach them a lesson, I don't understand how playing Mahrez was part of that.
Mahrez, yeah,
But he ended up with a hat trick last week, and his first hat trick ever since 2016 was it?
yeah,
So where he played
2016,
for Leicester. So yeah, so that was an against the tide kind of a thing that happened with Mahrez scoring the hat trick. Well, it was good. Aston Villa players again, since with their really good fixtures, I don't think you should get rid of Grealish either. So
mm,
there's them, and then we have Brighton who are doing Southampton and Brighton. So
Yeah.
Ings could be back this week.
Yeah. Ings as well.
So
Yeah. He might be a good
so
Jimenez replacement.
exactly. So that's another option. That the thing is, you have to make the choice even before that happens. We should probably wait for the pressers, the press conference. If Hasenhüttl gives some inkling that Ings is back, Ings is a good option because they have good set of fixtures. Or,
Yeah.
just one of them is hard over the next five. Apart from Brighton, I think Chelsea's fixtures are starting to get hard. They had a really good set of fixtures. If you can see after the next match against Leeds, they have five set of fixtures which can go either way here or there. They
Yeah.
play Everton, they play West Ham who are in good form, they play Aston Villa who are attacking. So Chelsea, I would say, is the better team.
I,
Their
so what
fixtures
you're
are a
saying
bit
is
iffy.
Chelsea defensive assets are a no go.
Not if you have Chilwell. I would still keep Chilwell.
Yeah. Apart from
Chilwell is a
Chilwell.
Chilwell is like a set and forget kind of a thing. I'm talking in terms of ZH because Salah comes in. Salah plays Fulham after Kevin De Bruyne next week,
Yeah.
and I need to get him in. There's no doubt about that. And the question is, if you have the idea is to get the holy trinity of Kevin De Bruyne, Bruno, and Salah somehow.
Good luck.
So
Good
there
luck.
is we already have Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno. I think if you make your transfer, you have two of them.
Yeah.
So I have Robertson. So I just need to downgrade him and the remaining midfielders. I have ZH, Grealish, and Riedewald, and obviously Riedewald is not going to, I'm not going to upgrade him to Salah. So either Grealish or Grealish or ZH has to go, and I think it's going to be ZH. So if you look at this is his assist. I'm not going to say that ZH is a goal scorer kind of thing. What he does is
Yeah.
assists. He's a
Yeah.
beautiful his crosses and his pinpoint his assists like almost Ozilesque when he was in form. So I'm
Yeah.
comparing his assists potential along with Grealish and De Bruyne. And if
Yeah.
you see his expected assists, it's more than both. It's more than
Yeah.
Grealish and De Bruyne at 2.19, whereas Grealish is 1.51 and De Bruyne is quite high at 1.89. So
Yeah.
and even if you look at it, the big chances created, they're all the same. So ZH has also been creating. So creativity wise, they're all quite good. You just need to see if ZH clicks. So I'm waiting for the Leeds match. If ZH clicks in the Leeds match, then I'm going to have a conundrum if I have to remove him. Fixture wise, yeah, I would say Aston Villa. I mean, keep your Aston Villa players. City, if you have De Bruyne, wait and see how the next few fixtures are to get a double up.
Yeah.
Southampton, wait for Ings. Look at how Ings is going to do if he's back. He's a very good striking option. Brighton again for those people who are thinking of removing Martinez and getting a 4.5 goalkeeper, Ryan is an option because
Okay.
he's Ryan McCarthy, even Meslier of Leeds. If you don't mind a
Okay.
double defensive up of Leeds, are all in better form than Martinez. Martinez has his save points of even Johnston. Johnston is a I mean, he's a shot saving machine basically.
Okay.
All these assets I have mentioned are in better form than Martinez, have returned better than Martinez over the last few game weeks. With that in mind, Ryan from Brighton, because of their upcoming great fixtures, is also an option. So
Okay.
fixture difficulty wise, those are the ones who I'd be looking for.
Targeting.
Liverpool, obviously. Liverpool, obviously. Yeah, I mean Tottenham is possibly the only one that's hard. After Fulham, they face Tottenham. You look at that: Fulham, Crystal Palace, West Brom, Newcastle, Southampton, Burnley. In the next eight, they face only um, Tottenham
One
who
Spurs.
are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
would definitely want Salah for that. If I could even get a double up of Salah and Jota if they're both somehow starting. I don't know how to arrive at that point right now, but this is what my thinking is currently. And to stay away from well, Sheffield United as always. I would say even Arsenal, no matter what the FDR says, stay away from Arsenal.
uh, I think Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Sheffield United as well. Like you said, they've replaced Fulham as the whipping boys.
Mm.
They have Leicester United. I mean, these are the, like, you think Southampton, Brighton, Everton, Burnley are good fixtures, but the thing with Sheffield is they've got a lot of chances, but they rarely finish. The XG was some 3 point something that game. against West Brom, but they've not scored any goal. So that's a testament to their lack of finishing and their lack of clinical finishing. And I don't think that apart from Brewster, who's an enabler in your team, I
Yeah,
don't think you will go for anybody. That
yep,
I just don't see goals in that team anywhere, and they're not keeping clean sheets as well. So I don't know why you'd go for Sheffield United. But
exactly.
the team which I'm really interested at and I'm looking at keenly is West Ham United. You've got Manchester United. They've got Manchester United at home. That's not going to be like a
Yes,
what do
yeah,
you
it's not
say?
going to
That's
be.
not going to
It's
be like
not
a
going.
tough fixture.
It's not a
I mean,
straightforward thing.
they
It's not
will
that
they
United are
might
going to correct.
lose. They
Yeah,
might lose, but they are going to go down. They're not going to go like scared of United. They are going to
mm,
go with all guns blazing, and they're going to like how Fulham approached the Leicester game. I have a feeling that West Ham will do the same against United. And
yes,
you have players like Bowen, Fornals, and Antonio who's come back fit. Although he did get withdrawn at halftime, I don't know if that was an injury thing. He might have
yeah.
picked up another injury. So
I think
that's something that we have to watch.
Antonio is Latin for one who's made of glass. Someone said. Seriously, I don't know what he
Glass
comes.
Tonio.
I don't know how he just gets injured and he leaves, and so that's if he was a bit more like how he was at the end of last season, bit more injury free,
Yeah,
he would be an amazing option at that price point, no matter what the
I
fixtures
know.
are.
Like United, they're not going to go with the same fear and with the quality of players they have. I don't think they should. And then you have Leeds. Again, you don't know which Leeds are going to turn up at any given point of time. And then you have Crystal Palace, who are so hot and cold. Uh, it's a it's a real good opportunity for West Ham to put out points. Chelsea is the only fixture I would consider like being a little difficult because they're playing at Stamford Bridge. They're playing away. It's not been a good place for them historically. And the rest you see like Brighton, Southampton, Everton, West Brom, Burnley. These are really good
Yeah.
fixtures.
After
So
that,
I
the
think apart
fixtures
from
just turn.
Chelsea, I think any like there's a chance for West Ham to pick up a lot of points or at least get attacking returns in that case.
Yep, the
So
wing
West
backs
Ham
and
would
the
be a
wingers are the ones who we target. Masuaku, Sufal,
Masuaka also
Bowen,
got
Fornals.
substituted half time, so I don't know if he's injured or not.
Oh, really? That's okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was a Moyes masterclass or something like that. But those was Masuaku and Antonio got pulled off at halftime. But you've got the likes of Sufal, you've got the
Yeah,
likes of Bowen, who's
Fornals.
come back in form. So I
Yeah,
think
another
yeah,
quality
West
player
Ham.
at the same price point is Rafinha of Leeds. He's a pretty good
But
option.
then
Actually, I feel quality wise he's better. I know, I understand. There's Click, there's Helder Costa, and there are other options. But I
no, it's
feel
not just that. It's the fact that it's a Bielsa team. Uh,
Hmm,
he might perform really well in the next game. Bielsa will not put him in the starting lineup, and then he might bring him on as a substitute, and he might sub him off as a substitute. So
yeah.
it's a so apart from Bamford, Ailing, Dallas, and Click, all your the spine of the team. I don't think Rafinha, Rodrigo, Helder Costa, these kind of players are worth taking a gamble on them and Calvin Phillips because Calvin Phillips, the team cannot function without him. He is critical to
Yeah.
their style of play.
The team is
So
very good defensively with Phillips, and they
yeah,
just completely fall apart without him.
so I would wait and see till Rafinha gets a starting spot. Not jump into any conclusions yet. I would wait and see till he gets a established starting spot. Who comes out, who comes in, we'll have to see later because you just never know. But yeah, for now it's a wait and watch for Rafinha. I wanted to ask you like about Wolves. We know Jimenez could possibly be out for a long time. What do you think about Fabio Silva?
Mm,
Is he going to play as the is he going to replace Jimenez or is it going to be Adama Traore, Podence and Neto, all that front three? Because Wolves
so-
now have changed against Arsenal. They deviated from the 3-4-3 and the 3-5-2 to a 4-2-3-1 or to a 4 at the back. So now there's a lot more onus on attacking intent. I think there is a chance for Fabio Silva to start. Like I said, 4-2-3-1, four attackers, they can start.
well, it depends on who they play. So since Nuno alternates between a four-man defense and a three-man defense,
Yeah.
three-man defense would require Fabio Silva to have some hold up play.
Yeah.
Jimenez is vital to that. So if they're
Yeah.
playing a three-man defense and Fabio Silva is not, I mean, I have not witnessed. I mean, I don't know how Fabio Silva is regarding hold up play.
Okay.
So if that's the case, I don't think he's going to do that well when they do play three-man, when Wolves play with a three-man defense. And that's the reason.
Yeah.
I mean, even Tillman lost his place because they switched to a four.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, with a four-man defense, I think Silva could be an option. But if with the three-man defense, like how I feel they would play against Liverpool, I am not that
Okay.
sure. I think they're going to. I mean, they're going to find it hard to create as many chances because Jimenez is the focal point when you play with a three-man defense, and I feel Nuno is going to give them the respect and possibly play with a three-man defense.
Okay.
And that in that scenario, I don't think Pablo Silva is going to play.
I know what you're saying, but Fabio Silva's price is currently 5.1 or 5 something. Like for that value, if you get a regular starter, that's really good. I mean, that free, like you said, you want to get that holy trinity of Fernandes, DeBruyne, and Salah. If you get a 5.2 or a 5.1 starter, I think that's
But
extremely good
he
value
should
there.
be a starter who returns. That's my
I
issue.
mean, why would you want to return if you got the that holy trinity of midfielders for you?
Oh well, with my current plan, I have the holy trinity of midfielders and a forward line of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Vardy, and Bamford.
Your team value must be through the roof then.
It's 104.1 right now.
Oh, that's why.
So, so that's what I mean. My aim was that. So I am able to. If I do sell Robertson, I can somehow
Yeah,
squeeze Salah
but
in
yeah,
while still having Vardy and Bamford. Obviously, I think I would have to sell Dominic Calvert-Lewin just to make up that extra cash. This is assuming I have to
yeah,
get Jota. But if I'm not getting Jota, if I'm just getting Salah in, I can do it even with my current three strikers. So
okay,
that's my that's my thinking. So now here's the thinking: if Fabio Silva starts and does not return, would you want? Would you? I mean, in your current situation, would you rather have that, or would you rather have Salah in your midfield and a non-starter like Keenan Davis as a 4.3 starter? I mean, striker, because you have two other strikers. Wouldn't you rather play a
no,
fourth?
but then my team structure then completely gets thrown out because I cannot. If I were able to field a 3-5-2, I would 100% do it. I would 100% bring in Keenan Davis, but then my fifth midfielder is Yves Basuma. So I will have to field a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 with Basuma in the midfield, and that's not going to make a difference.
Well,
So
if you have an extra transfer at some point, you could make Bissouma into Suchek, and that's a better option to have with the fifth midfielder
yeah,
actually. If you look, City and Liverpool rotate quite well for
yeah,
captaincy. City plays Fulham next week. Liverpool plays Fulham after that.
yeah.
When City plays United, then City plays West Brom. When Liverpool plays Tottenham,
Tottenham, yeah.
and then City plays Sheffield United. Is it? Yeah,
Southampton,
Southampton. But Liverpool face Crystal Palace.
Palace,
And
yeah.
then the week after that, Liverpool and City face both Newcastle and West Brom. So you have rotatable captaincy options between Salah and Kevin De Bruyne from next week.
And West Brom, I don't think you would need anybody from West Brom. They are,
Uh, unless you want Sam Johnston, who somehow I mean, West Brom have conceded only two goals in the last three. One of which
yeah,
is against Manchester United. They won the last match,
yeah,
and the one before that was they scored. They let in one goal against Tottenham. So this is two
okay,
really good attacking teams who they have defensively tightened up a bit over the last 4 weeks.
okay,
So and Johnston has been reaping the rewards of the save points and whatnot even prior to that. So even though they are bottom of the list in FDR, if they are just going to let in get just give in one goal, unlike
yeah,
Martinez, and Johnson getting more save points. That's 3 points versus one with Martinez. So that is an option. I think no Pereira, no one else as of now. Johnston, I think he's like a shot saving machine.
yeah. Short saving machine, brilliant guy. He kept even in Spurs game, he kept West Brom in that match till
All the
the
way to the end.
Hurricane
Yeah.
goal. Yeah, all the way to the end. So he's a really good prospect if you need a cheap goalkeeper to free up funds. Basically, he's only at 4.5, so it's pretty good.
With
Yeah,
4.5, we just have to hope that they get clean sheet points and the odd.
I mean
I mean,
he will get save points. That's
yeah,
one
save
thing
points,
for
same
sure.
points, but yeah, and the odd clean sheet points. Unless you're like
Yeah.
Nick Pope of Burnley last season and just have a worldie.
What about captaincy options?
Kevin De Bruyne, the standout captaincy option this week for me. On a close,
Okay,
I mean, on a second, I mean, second place would be Vardy because he's facing
okay,
Sheffield United away from home. Like we said, that's where he performs.
and okay, Vardy and Kevin De Bruyne. What about
Yeah,
Bruno against?
West Ham.
Yeah,
Yeah, the thing
yeah.
is,
What
the
about?
thing is, the thing is West Ham. So there is a scope that we could lose 3-1 or we could win 3-1. He's still
Yeah,
not a set and forget captain option for me yet. He's not
okay,
attained that Salah level of I mean, at least the team hasn't. If he played in
yeah,
any other team, I think we would have. Thing is, United are not that convincing yet.
yeah.
Let's just hope that he
So
strikes a good partnership with Cavani and like he did last game week, and then maybe.
yeah. And a quick note: if you're trying to go in for Cavani yet, do not because he could get banned for 3 games, 3 to 4 games. So that's just a quick info notice. Okay, fine. Shall we get into the score predictions?
Yeah. How did we? What is the scope? I mean, we predicted
Yeah, we predicted
last.
the game week 8, not game week 9.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So Newcastle versus Chelsea. I predict both of us predicted a 1-3. Chelsea won 2-0. Both of us predicted a 3-1 win. We got the result right, so that's a 1 point for each of us. Villa versus Brighton. Villa lost 2 goals to 1. So both of us get 0 points for that. Tottenham versus City. I predicted a City win, 3-2. You predicted a draw. Both of us get 0 points for that. United versus West Brom. Both of us predicted a. I predicted a 2-0 win. You predicted a
I went
3-0
3-0,
win.
I think.
Yeah. And in the end, it was a 1-0 win. So 1 point for the result. Fulham versus Everton. I tried to be clever and predicted a Fulham win, which I should have predicted for this. I should
This
have
game,
predicted
yeah,
it for this game week.
yeah.
I knew a Fulham win was coming somewhere. I just didn't know where, and it
But
came this game week, and it was really unlucky. But still, I predicted a 1-0 win for Fulham. You predicted a 2-0 win for Everton, and Everton won that game 2-3.
three.
So you get the point for that. Then Sheffield United versus West Ham United. I predicted a 2-1 win to Sheffield United. You predicted a 2-0 win to West Ham, and West Ham United won that game. So you get the point. And West Ham West Ham won the game 1-0, but
1-0, yeah.
this is another warning that Sheffield United win is coming close. It's coming soon.
Yeah, let's just hope it's not against Leicester and Vardy again.
Yeah, Leeds versus Arsenal. I predicted a 3-0 win to Leeds. Sorry, I predicted a 3-0 win to Arsenal. You predicted a 2-0 win to 2-1 win to Leeds.
Leeds.
Both of us predicted that result wrong. It was a draw, 0-0. Liverpool versus Leicester. So I predicted a 2-2 draw, and you predicted a 2-1 win. So you get the point for that. Uh, Brighton versus Crystal Palace. I predicted a 4-0 win to Crystal Palace. You predicted a 1-0 win to Crystal Palace. In the end, Burnley won 1-0. Yeah, so none of us get that result. Wolves versus Southampton. It was a 1-1 draw. I predicted a. Both of us predicted a 2-1 win to Southampton, and we get 0 points for that. So in the end, the score is 5-2. So you lead this week. So you lead the last week.
Yep.
So yeah, let's get into this week's predictions. Yeah, so the first game will be at 6 o'clock. Burnley versus Everton. Uh, I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Everton.
I'm going for a 1-0 win to Burnley.
And yeah, Man City versus Fulham. No, I'm going to go for the 3-0 win to City.
Mm, I think it would be 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a 3-0 win for me and a 2-0 win for you.
Right.
Okay, West Ham versus Manchester United. Okay, I'm gonna go for a 3-2 win to Manchester United.
I'll go for a 2-1 to Manchester United.
And yeah, now coming to the Sunday's games, Chelsea versus Leeds. I'm gonna go for a 3-2 Chelsea win. Chelsea's at home, so I'm going to give them the home advantage.
I'm going for a 2-2 draw.
West Brom versus Crystal Palace.
I go for a West Brom win, possibly
West
2-0.
Brom win.
Zaha's in
Yeah,
back, is he?
yeah. Zaha still isn't back.
So I
I,
would
I
still go
I
for
I
a
don't think
2.
he'll be back for this game. We'll have to wait for the presser for that game.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to West Brom. Sheffield United versus Leicester. I am going to go for a. Uh, could could this be the Sheffield win we are all hoping for? No, it's going to be a 3-1 win to Leicester. So you?
I don't even think that one goal they're going to be able to manage that. So it's going to be some 3-0, I guess.
The next game, the North London Derby.
Mm.
Let's go for the prediction.
What do you think? Feel Arsenal?
I feel Arsenal. No, it's going to be a 2-2 draw.
I think Spurs will win this. I think it could be a 2-1. Could be a 2-1 thing from Jose. Like they score one and Arsenal score one, and then Jose scores another one, and then just shuts up shop.
Liverpool versus Wolves.
1-0 to Liverpool. 1-0. Just one goal.
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Brighton versus Southampton, the last game.
If Ings is back, I predict Southampton win. Not narrow one, not that big. Possibly 2-1.
I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw.
Could
I'm
be.
just going to predict a lot of draws because these games are really
Yeah,
unpredictable.
iffy. I know.
You know,
And
both
unless you're
both teams go hard.
and unless one of the managers is Jose, it's not going to be a draw. That's what I feel.
Yeah. Okay, fine. And yeah, I think we've covered everything. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. If you like the show, please do leave a like. Do subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, and do drop a comment as to what your team is going to look like heading into game week 11. For now, this is me, Hotshot, and Ashwin signing out from the FPL Cafe. Peace.